3, the speaker says that computer viruses are picked up because they can infiltrate programs by themselves. Infiltrate. Infiltrate means to go inside forcefully. So you can infiltrate maybe, well, if you play video games a lot, you can infiltrate the enemy base if you're a spy, jasus. Okay? You infiltrate, so you enter without someone or without someone allowing you in. So speaker says that computer viruses are picked up because they can be sold with commercial software. So so they give you a CD. Hello, this is a CD that has, I don't know, Microsoft Office, and here's another CD next to it that has a Trojan. Enjoy. And the third one, hide in unofficial software. All right. Next, 4. What does the speaker find surprising? Surprising means unusual or unexpected. The rise in the number of software infections, the determination of those who develop viruses, okay? Determination means he is insistent. He always tries to develop better and better viruses to infect your computer. Okay? He never gives up. And the third one, the fact that people blame their own computers. Blame here is to say, my computer is very old and it doesn't work. 5. The worst aspect of a Trojan horse virus is its capacity to delete all the files on the computer, send illegal emails to your correspondent. By the way, correspondence is another word for contacts, your contact list. Okay? Contacts. Here we are, and just make that text a bit smaller. This computer does. Okay? So, correspondent is a contact and perform operations in your name or on your behalf. Not on your behalf, but in your name means they hijack your computer, they control your computer, and then maybe go online and buy things and so on. Which one is the worst? I'm going to answer questions 1 to 5 first, all right? Or actually, let me just read the rest of the questions, then answer them, and play the recording. Actually, I'm just going to play the recording again after I read the questions. 6 to 9, list 4 ways of combining the viruses, of combating viruses. The text is too small for me as well. Right? No more than 3 words for each answer. Be very careful of this limitation. You are not allowed to write 4 words. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Alright? By the way, okay. So, of course, I'm not sure if these answers should be in order or not. Okay? So please play it safe and answer the questions in order. Next, question 10. How does the speaker feel about computer viruses? What's his feeling? What does he feel? And this one is a sneaky one, question 10. Question 10 is a very sneaky one because the answer comes directly after here. Directly after 9. So pay attention to this. I'm going to play the recording and then we will answer these questions. Find the model answers.
Track 23.
Good morning, everybody. Now, last week we were looking at the positive effects that computers have had on our society. This week I'd like to talk about one of the negatives, computer viruses. Okay, so what is a computer virus? Well, it's a software program that's been created by a human programmer with the single intention of corrupting and destroying useful programs. Put in simple terms, it's a way of causing lots of trouble for ordinary people. It's known as a virus because although it's not a biological organism, It functions in a similar way in that it looks for a host, that is, a body, your computer, in which to live and multiply, with the one aim of destroying that host. Let's go back 50 years. In 1949, the first model of a computer virus program was presented in a paper by John von Neumann. Soon after this was published, a game known as Core Wars appeared on the scene. Core Wars was initially created for intellectual entertainment by 3 Americans working on large mainframe computers. By the 1980s, for the very small sum of $2 postage, anyone could get details on how to play Core Wars and create programs that could escape from the game and destroy other programs. Computer viruses are picked up in much the same way as their biological counterparts. That is, through contact with others. And this can happen very easily, as literally millions of people are in touch with each other by email every day. Virus programs are often intentionally placed within useful programs such as commercial websites, or they're included in software that you might have got from friends or downloaded from somewhere without knowing its real source. It seems quite hard to believe that anyone would go to all this trouble to intentionally spoil the data of other people. But the rise in the number of computer software infections and the amount of lost data that we are seeing these days is proof that these attackers are going to extremes to do just that. Going out of their way to create programs that hide inside legitimate software and cause all sorts of errors that their victims will then mistake for hardware failure, believing that the problem lies with their own computer. There are many types of virus, such as worms and Trojan horses, and each has its own purpose. One function of a Trojan, for instance, is to destroy and delete files on your computer. They attack by generating a lot of email and internet traffic on your machine until it becomes completely overloaded and you can no longer use your computer. It then does the same to your friends' machines. Bad enough, you may think, but a Trojan also allows the attacker to use the victim's computer to purchase goods with stolen credit cards or access illegal websites. So, what can we do to combat these people? Well, the first thing is to realize that virus programmers succeed because people are not always careful about where they get their programs from. So, number 1, be very careful. And I don't just mean that you should be careful about the source of your software. You also need to take care with emails and avoid any messages which are suspicious looking. So the second golden rule is avoid trouble. For instance, do not open any message that says, "I love you," or "win $50. A third thing we can do involves trying to find out exactly how the viruses work. In other words, we need to understand the viruses. And of course, there's a good selection of antivirus software available on the market now to combat the virus plague. So another way of protecting ourselves and our computers is to be well prepared. If you follow these basic rules, you really shouldn't have any problems.
Thank you. So hopefully you have got, most if not all of the answers correct. The answers are: the speaker compares a computer virus to a biological organism. Okay? It's not like it, but it functions in a similar way in that it finds a host, a computer, and then it reproduces or it multiplies, and it has the intent purpose of destroying the computer. Next, Core Wars was designed as a form of amusement and intellectual entertainment. I'm just going to write it here. Intellectual entertainment is entertainment for the mind. Okay, entertainment is to have fun. So here the answer is intellectual entertainment or a form of amusement. The speaker says that computer viruses are picked up because they can. Well, he said that they can come with commercial websites. They come from commercial websites, not software. All right? But he said that it also comes in software that you pick up from your friends or from unofficial websites. Don't download torrents, people. So unofficial software is software that you get from your friends and they can have viruses. What does the speaker find surprising is the determination of those who develop viruses. They say that they're going to extremes in order to infect your computer. Extremes here means very difficult methods and very improbable methods. Okay. The worst aspect of a Trojan horse is its capacity. Now this one is a bit difficult. Okay. He said delete all the files and send illegal emails to your contacts. But he said bad enough, you think? But also it allows the hacker to perform operations in your name or something like that. For example, stealing your credit card information and buying things with it, and accessing illegal websites. So the correct one is performing operations in your name. I really hope that the marks are clear here. Okay, and a form of entertainment is the answer here. A biological, and just actually select a better type here, and then mark it again. So first it's a biological organism here. A second one is to be a form of entertainment. The third one is that it can hide in unofficial software that you get from your friends. Fourth one, it's that those who develop the virus are determined. They go to extreme lengths. And finally, they perform operations in your name. The next four are very clear because he says the points explicitly, very slowly. The first one, number 6, is be very careful. Alright? Now, I think that very could be removed. So you can say be careful, but since it's just within the 3-word length, okay, try to copy what the man is saying, letter or word by word, letter by letter, okay? Do not think and say, oh, I can remove this. Just try to do exactly what they are, or write exactly what they're saying, because you never know. You never know. By the way, the answer will always be something he says. It will always be something he says. The second point is avoid trouble. Okay? Next, understand the viruses. Then, be well prepared. So here are the 4 points. And very quickly he says that if you follow these simple steps, viruses should not be a problem for you. So the answer here is they can be avoided. They can be avoided. So here I conclude my first part of session 3 and the entire listening section. I hope you learned enough here, or learned enough so that you can get the mark you desire. But of course, these lessons are not enough, I have to agree, are not very enough, or they are not enough to help you get a perfect score. To get a perfect score, you need to practice, practice, practice. You can download many IELTS tests, official IELTS tests from the web, online, and you can solve them yourself. Depending on the course, I will solve some exams myself, okay, online here, and this will serve as a type of practice. But please do your best to get your own work, to do your own homework, and solve these exams yourself. So here we are. We are in the middle of the course here. Okay, so hello again and welcome to my second part of session 3. As you remember, hopefully, in the first part we have finally finished our listening module by taking some examples of section 4 and understanding how we can properly solve it in the given time by stealing some time from section 1. Again, as the exam begins, the recording will ask you to turn to section 1, and then she'll give you some explanation on what the questions are, and then she asks you to read questions 1 to 5. The moment she asks you to turn to section 1, immediately turn to section 4. And keep reading section 4 until the explanation is over, until the time given for the questions of section 1 is over, and that's it. And then turn back to the first section, turn back to section 1. The moment she says, you will see that there is an example in something, okay, that has been done for you. All right, so read section 4 first, then on the example, switch back to section 1. Hopefully, this will get you enough time for you to solve or understand section 4, as it really is the longest section and the one given the least time per question. Regardless, I'm going to switch to the reading now, and this will be a bit of a short lesson because I wanted to make sure I finished the listening part in the first section, so I took a little bit more time. But regardless, let's take a look at the primary idea, okay? The main thing that we need to focus on when it comes to reading. If you have read enough English texts, okay, any type of article, any type of writing, any type of essay, newspaper report, newspaper column, any type, whether it's an opinion or a story or maybe a report, any type of English writing will and must follow these small guidelines. Okay, every single essay, I'm going to write it here, right? Every single essay is divided into paragraphs, small paragraphs like this, and so on. Alright? These small paragraphs are divided based on the topic. Okay? Of course, we first begin with an introduction, which is a bit of a small paragraph. By the way, I'm explaining some of the writing lessons here, okay? But I just want you to grasp what we're talking about when I'm referring to the reading paragraphs and how we should understand them. We should understand our reading the same way we should write our essays in the writing section, in the writing module. So, any typical essay, any essay written by a competent writer, to be more exact, is divided into paragraphs. The first paragraph is always the introduction, followed by a number of paragraphs. It may be 3, 4, 5, whatever the number you need is, but you divide your paragraphs based on the number of ideas you have. Let's say, for example, that our introduction is the International Space Station is important for humanity. So ISS is important. Maybe. Alright? The first paragraph may be about one of the reasons why it is considered important. So you can write the ISS has played a significant or a huge, okay, role in the advancement. Just going to say significant here, which means huge. Alright? Huge is significant, ملحوظ. A significant role in the advancement of modern medicine. Whatever. Okay? So the International Space Station is later here. This is called a topic sentence. This is called a topic sentence. Let me just label it here. Topic, enter, sentence. Right? No, go, and the writing is yeah, it doesn't work. Alright, so we're talking about the topic sentence here, which is the sentence or the introduction to your paragraph, not the introduction to your essay. This is something else. Okay, I'm talking about the first sentence in a paragraph, which is the topic sentence or the introduction of the paragraph. The introduction is a bit general. Okay, you are just outlining the idea of this paragraph. Okay, you are just saying, okay, this paragraph's idea is the ISS roles in medicine. That's it. But if you just write this and stop, everyone's going to ask you, well, prove it, or I don't believe you. You have to present an example. For instance, or for example, of course, all right? Many, okay, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know any medicines that were created in space, but I know that many medical research or a lot of medical experiments are done in zero gravity. So, for instance, the low gravity conditions help in the manufacture of unique sorts or types of medicine. Full stop. Okay? So I'm talking about an example as to why the ISS is or has a significant role. So this second sentence is your example or your explanation. Okay? Any of those, any sentence that explains what the first sentence is about, alright, should be explained, of course, in other words or rephrasing, alright? So you're saying a huge role in the advancement of modern medicine. No medicine today could have been created, or no effective medicine today could have been created without the help of whatever. Alright? So you will see that just a moment. You will see that the second sentence always helps advance or develop your idea in the paragraph, which is why it is the most important one is the topic sentence, but it's the most important sentence after that after the topic sentence to explain what this paragraph is about. So you may have, of course, you can have more than one example, okay, and so on and so forth. And let me just not cut up the page here. So you may have more than one example and so on. Some people like to write also a conclusion, a small conclusion. All right. This is the correct place. Here. Okay. Some people like to write a small conclusion to reassure their point. So if I'm going to write one, okay, you can say all of these medical developments were made easy by the research on the ISS. Okay, so this is a small conclusion to your sentence, right? Just repeating your idea here in other words. You must not repeat the idea in exactly the same words. Okay, they will be, but of course this will be kept later for the writing section. I'm just writing this here to explain to you how the reading section should come as. Alright? When you take a look here, this is definitely an introduction. Okay? This is an introduction, not to a paragraph. I'm talking an introduction to an entire idea of, I don't know, let's see. I'm going to read. I think you may mute the sound if you just want to read yourself, but listening to me read might help you understand some of the pronunciation. A jet-lagged traveler, sleepily lugging his suitcase to the rental car shuttle, may well wonder why his brain seems bent upon tormenting his body. If only he could adjust his body clock to his new time zone, he could get the good night's sleep he needs. If his journey has taken him westwards, however, he will probably have an easier time adjusting to his new schedule than if he has traveled east. Some research by Hirokai Daido of the University of Asaka Prefecture in Japan, published recently, may help to explain why. So this is the introduction to an essay. And as it seems, the essay will talk about the research conducted by not necessarily just this university, some other universities, to explain what happens when jet lag occurs, right? Because this is, I think, this is definitely the correct idea, the main idea, or the topic idea, okay? And just a moment. And this is what the entire passage will be formed about, okay? Jet lag. And how to avoid it. Research to avoid or defeat jet lag. So if we take a look here, jet lag is the first or the topic sentence. And underlining the main idea might be a bit tricky. Let's take a look. Not here. Just alright. So a jet-lagged traveler sleepily lugging his suitcase to a rental car shuttle may well wonder why his brain seems bent upon tormenting his body. This is just general talk. If only he could adjust his body clock to his new time zone, he could get the good night's sleep he needs. If his journey has taken him westwards, however, he will probably have an easier time adjusting to his new schedule than if he has traveled east. By the way, this word has two pronunciations. Than if he has traveled east. Some research. So I would say the main idea is about jet lag, or some facts about jet lag maybe. But this topic should be an introduction to jet lag. By the way, many people pronounce schedule the British. Okay, a typical British pronounces schedule like schedule. All right. So some people pronounce it. Okay, so some people pronounce it schedule, all right, and others pronounce it schedule, all right. Of course, both pronunciations are correct. You don't have to worry about this. I'm just saying this so that if someone pronounces it as schedule in a listening exam, you would not get surprised. Good. Let's carry on. Now here's another text. Which of the following best summarizes the main idea in paragraph B? I'm talking about this one. Alright? So we are looking for the main idea. The main idea is, sometimes it would not be the first sentence. You would have to try and understand in general what the main idea is, what this sentence is written for. Let's take a look. Although the world is home to tens of millions of animal species, the vast majority are small crawling things with lots of legs. Insects. When they are threatened, it's difficult for conservationists to stir up much public sympathy. Not so for the big, cute, cuddly animals like orangutans. By the way, I looked up orangutans. They are a type of monkey, ape, that are a bit orangey, and I think they are really nice looking, but I don't like animals, so I cannot judge. So orangutans are orange monkeys. People will go to enormous lengths to protect them, their habitats, and the other less attractive, but no less important animals that live with them. So what did you understand? What did you understand? Does it seem that, let's take a look at the choices first. There are more insects than animals to conserve in the world,